It's hitting right there. Alright guys, here's the finished product on the left side door hinge.
Let's get in the shop and build something.
Hey, what's going on everybody? Been getting the front end buttoned up on the motor. All I got left to do is hook up one more line. This is it. This is the fuel line that runs from the fuel cell up to the mechanical fuel pump. I have all this plumbed. I've got a 12-gallon rear tank that I put methanol in. And then I have a electric fuel pump that pumps it up to the surge tank, and then the mechanical pump draws it out of the surge tank for the fuel injection. So that's kind of the setup, and I'll kind of show that to you here. But we pretty much have the front end done. Another thing I got left to decide is I believe I'm going to run some water in it this year. And I'm just not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm thinking of running some water, and I'm thinking about running the lines back behind in the bed, just to have the weight back there instead of up front, because with the big block there's already enough weight up here in the front. So I'm still kicking that around. Haven't said yes, I haven't said no. So that's coming here in the next few weeks. I got to make a decision on that. But anyway, let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what we've been doing here. Okay, as you've seen in some of the video ahead of here in this clip, we went ahead, we got all of the injectors installed. I got them oriented so they're squirting down. And got the lines on. Back in the back, I got the oil pressure gauge light hose put on. I've got the water temperature installed right here. And the only thing I don't have hooked up yet is the hose for the return on the water, because I'm not sure yet what I'm doing. Let's see, what else did we do? Oh yeah, we went ahead with, we're going to be installing a vacuum gauge in there, and at the advice of my engine builder, I went ahead, and you can't, I don't know if you can see it down in there, but there's this black line right here, and it is tapped. See if I can get the camera up in there. There we go. Yeah. So he advised me to go ahead and tap a port right there. So I did that. That way we can monitor the vacuum on this, because we suspect what happened was we may have been pulling a little too much vacuum. Never seen an aerospace 3-vane do that, but that's kind of what it looked like. So we installed the vacuum port for the gauge, so we can monitor that. I also installed, as you saw in an earlier video, I installed this vacuum relief. So I have it set so that at 12 inches of vacuum, this will open, so we don't pull too much crankcase vacuum. Let's see, what else? Okay, so then today we're working on the front end. We have the mechanical fuel pump installed. Let me move my hose here. Okay. So what we did, we got the accessory drive put on, which is this down here. Installed that. There's 4 bolts here that go into the harmonic balancer. Got that all installed. Then we put the vacuum pump on, which is right here. And I've got this hose connected. So the inlet on these aerospaces is over here. And so I've got a hose that goes from here to here. I just don't have it installed just yet. And it just goes over here to a puke tank right there. And then I also installed this little fuel pump. It's basically like a lawnmower fuel pump, and it's got a solenoid, on-off solenoid. And the purpose of that, and it goes to this little black tank right here. It holds about, I don't know, quart and a half of gasoline. And it's called a primer pump or idle pump. So on these injection systems, until you get some fuel, you get the motor cranking, and it starts putting fuel out of the pump. Here, this is the fuel pump. It's got to get alcohol up to there, get it in there, and get down to the injectors. So to make it easier to start, I run this right here and run that up to there and get a little more fuel in it. So that's that set up. Oh, down at the very bottom, I do run an alternator down there. Some guys don't. They do take a little horsepower, but when I have my pulling truck, I did not run an alternator because in truck pulling, as some of you know, you're after every single horsepower you can get. So I did not run the alternator, and consequently, I had to charge my batteries, make sure they were fully topped off before I went out on the track, and then charge them. And I did run 3 batteries, big, huge deep cycle batteries. One was a deep cycle / start battery. And I isolated them. So that one started it, and then the other 2 ran the ignition and the hydraulic pump, steering pump, because that was an all electric system, electric over hydraulic steering. But anyway, so I had to charge constantly, and it was just a pain in the butt, and I didn't want to deal with that with this one. So I added the alternator. I'm like, it ain't taking that much horsepower, so just makes life easier. So anyway, so we got an alternator. So that's all we're driving off the crankshaft: a vacuum pump, we're driving a fuel pump, and the alternator, and that's all that's coming off that crankshaft. So that's the front end. Until I make a decision on running water or no water, we're pretty much done with the front end. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. We got more content coming on the hot rod. As I said in my last video, I'm going to film how I wire this, that ignition in, so you can kind of follow along with that. Wiring can be intimidating, but it's really not bad. You just do one wire at a time. That's how you simplify it, one wire at a time. And I'll go through what I usually do, how I tackle my project. First thing I do is a schematic. I make a schematic for everything, and I have one already for this truck. So we're going to pull that out and either modify it or draw up a new one to accommodate this new ignition, because there are a few changes that this ignition is kind of the reason I went to this ignition, is it gives me some more options I did not have with my Digital 6 ignition. I would like to have gone to a Digital 7 or a grid or something like that, but funds weren't there. It's the life of a racer. You gotta pick and choose what you can afford. So we went with this. It'll accommodate my needs, and yeah, so that's what's coming. So hey, make sure you like and subscribe, because don't want you to miss out on any new content that's coming out down the pike here. Looking forward to getting this thing out in the spring, making some hits, and so yeah, you don't want to miss any of that, so be sure and stay tuned for that. So anyway, hey, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you guys and gals. You guys are what keeps me doing this, because trust me, the amount of time it takes to set up the different camera angles and all the video editing and all that junk, I could be doing a lot of other things, and I could probably have be a lot further along on this, but I enjoy sharing with you, and hopefully you enjoy seeing it. So anytime you have any questions, be sure to drop a comment below. Reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Twitter, Facebook, wherever, and I'll do my best to answer the questions for you. So thanks a lot. Have a great one.